Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name's Vanessa and in today's video I thought it'd be fun to sit down and do a rainy day kind of look. If you want to see how I got this look, then please keep on watching. So for the base, I've been into the Byroe New York Tomato Serum. Go ahead and just dot, dot, and dot. It's very gel-like and absorbs very quickly, so it works really well for my oily skin. It's funny because it's supposed to be raining all day today, but there's just a little patch of sun right now, which is kind of nice, but defeating the purpose of this video. I also find that this is very smoothing and just helps for my makeup application on top. I just like to use it as a primer, and it's worked with, I think, every foundation I've tried on top. So I kind of just rub it in until I feel like it's starting to get tacky, which is the point it's at right now. I'm gonna go in with Auric Glow Lust in the shade Morganite. Oh, I love that glow though. For foundation, I've never talked about this foundation on my channel. It's one of the products I got this summer and just really never got a chance to discuss. It's the Lancome Idole Ultra Wear foundation. I have the shade 260 Bisque N, which I think is the neutral shade. I'm gonna give it a little shake, but I absolutely love this foundation. I'm so happy I discovered it and wish I discovered it sooner. Not only does it feel very luxe with the packaging, but you know what, I'm gonna apply it on the back of my hand first. Every time I've worn it, I catch myself looking at my skin in the mirror throughout the day and just thinking, wow, I'm having a really great skin day. I've been using this IT Cosmetics No. 7 brush, the Heavenly Luxe brush, just blend out my foundations. Now what I like about this is it's not too pigmented and full coverage that you can overdo it. I feel like you can build it up quite nicely. And I would say it gives a medium to full coverage finish. Very natural, which is what I like. I really like natural foundations. I haven't been into anything super glowy or super matte recently, and if I am gonna go a different direction instead of natural, I typically go glowy. For concealer, I have the Huda Beauty FauxFilter Luminous, wait, it says Luminous Matte Liquid Concealer. How can a concealer be luminous and matte? That's so odd. Now I got the shade Meringue 2.1 N, which I thought was gonna suit me, but when I got it, it was so white. I'm gonna use it, but this definitely does not match me. I'm gonna use a little bit of my D-Bronzi anti-pollution sunshine drops from Drunk Elephant. So what I'm gonna do is just take a bit on the back of my hand. You can see that would be way too white. I do like this formula. So this one I do like. I just found that their shade range was very hard to figure out. It's also very full coverage, more than I thought. So a little goes a long way. I'm just gonna pat it in. Make sure that's a good color match. I think it is. It's brightening up a bit, but it's not too pale. So I got that here. I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender. Just pick up a bit and start to build up my coverage in the areas I have more redness. Recently, my cheeks right here have been getting a lot of windburn from being outside. I don't really like that they're that red, and I'm trying to remedy that. But I really like the combination of the Huda FauxFilter concealer mixed with the Lancome Idole Ultra Wear. They work really nicely together. Like I said, throughout the day, I feel like my foundation looks really nice and well put together. For bronzer, you already know it's gonna be the Merit bronzer in the shade Seine. I did a whole review swatch video for this bronzer. I've been keeping it a little bit higher recently. So like normally I would go to where my finger's lying, and then now I've been lifting it up to give myself a more lifted face. And I kind of like the way that looks. And then just a tad there. My favorite brush for cream bronzer still remains the e.l.f. Small Stippling Brush. I couldn't recommend a bronzer that is more easier to work with than this. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Blush. I got the shade Latte. This color just looks perfect to me. exactly what I'm gonna love. It reminds me of Loyal from Hourglass. There's a little brush at the end, very similar to Nude Sticks. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on. Just seeing it on my hand, I know I'm going to love it. I never swipe when I apply a cream product to my face. I usually pat it in, and just so it doesn't pick up any of the base underneath. I'm gonna use one of these Luxie dual fiber brushes. It's a 516. I usually like these for cream products because I find it keeps a lot of the pigment but also disperses it really nicely. That is beautiful. I really like that. It's a really pretty blush. Yep, new favorite. So I'm gonna warm it up on the back of my hand. Really see it there. It's like a dusty rose pink, which is probably one of my favorite pink tones. Now this I feel like is like a wedding blush color. You could use this for special occasions. It's just very neutral. It's gonna work if you do a warm tone look. It's gonna look nice if you do a cool tone look. It's a very versatile blush that's gonna look good on, I would say, most skin types. You would probably want to do, if you're darker than me, the similar kind of tone but in a deeper shade. All right, let's move on to powder. I got the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder in number 2 Satin Blanc. I'm not gonna lie, it's very bulky, but it does feel high-end. You get 4 different shades, so I have the second lightest shade. What I don't like about it, you get a little puff, but all of the powder just kind of comes out, or it just sits in this puff when you want to use it. It's heavily scented like Old Lady Rose Potpourri. I don't like the scent at all, but this does work amazing for blurring out my pores and really setting everything in place. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of put the lid on, do a quick tap. So then I like to kind of swirl it so I get the right kind of consistency. I like it, but I'd have a very hard time recommending it because I think there are products out there that are better and are less expensive. Make sure that my creases are patted out beforehand. Okay, so you can see that was definitely very brightening, but it's also very blurring. So I'll show you this whole side and then I'll scooch in a little bit closer. I really do like the finish. So I'm gonna get close and uncomfortable with the camera and just show you how this side here is very blurred and this side has the glow, but you can still see some pores here and on my forehead. It's just not as perfected, whereas this side looks a lot more polished, albeit it does look matte, but we can always bring more luminosity back to the skin. I mean, there's no denying my skin looks fabulous right now. Like, it's just a lot of money. All right, now, as part of my routine, I definitely layer on the bronzers and the powders and the blushes. I bought the Jaclyn Cosmetics Sunbathe Pressed Bronzer when it came out. I got the shade Skinny Dip, which would work for me if I'm a little bit more fair. Did actually bring this with me to Europe on vacation. I like the size of the mirror. What I didn't like is how bulky the packaging was and very heavy. It feels very sturdy. It does feel very luxurious. This smells like maple syrup. So for all of you Canadians out there who love maple syrup, might like this, although I will say it smells like a very cheap version of maple syrup, but I personally don't love that. It smells a little too corn syrupy in my opinion. But I think we're diving down an avenue that no one really cares too much about. Like I said, I have the shade Skinny Dip. I wish I brought a different bronzer that was not as bulky. So I don't think I'll be traveling with this in the future. And then again, the shade was just a little too yellow for me. And I wish I'd gotten something a little bit more, maybe with a little bit more of a reddish undertone instead of yellow, or something more neutral. Would I recommend this? Honestly, I think I would pass. Let's move on to the highlighters. The Jaclyn Cosmetics Reflecting Light Putty Highlighter in the shade Star Power. Now she came out with these, I think, in a similar shade as her pressed powder. So I think one of the popular ones is Iced. This packaging is a lot more cheap than the bronzer, which I didn't like the consistency. You get a good amount of product, but I just don't know why this one is so much more cheaper. So this shade I feel is a lot more like champagne-y. I have the Iced shade in her pressed one, so I want to try something different. I thought Star Power would work for me. I'm just gonna go in with a brush here. This is a Spectrum BO2. Just hit the high points. I'm gonna be upfront, I don't like the formula when I use it with my hand. It looks very impactful. I place it and it's like that wet glow in your face highlighter, which I don't personally like. I like something obviously a lot more natural. And again, that's just my expectations of this product and hoping it would be something I liked more. But if you know Jaclyn, then you know that she likes a blazing highlight. So I don't think I would have purchased this in the future, and I haven't really got much use out of it. I've mostly just swatched it, and I think I've put it on the eyes more than I've put it on my cheeks. Not really something that blew me out of the water. For powder blush, this is the Laura Mercier All That Sparkles, kind of like glowy blush. It's a peachy shade, but again, has a little bit of that dusty rose undertone. And I fell head over heels in love with it. I really do enjoy the Laura Mercier blush formulas, their powder formula and their liquid formula as a whole. I think they do blushes really nicely and are definitely underrated. Now this gives a nice glow. I really like this product. I like how slim it was. It was perfect for traveling. It feels very nice, luxe, and expensive. I mean, it retails for about 42 Canadian dollars, so that's definitely up there for a product, but it's definitely something I've gotten a lot of use out and will continue to get more use out of. If you don't like a glowy blush, this isn't for you. I'll give you a little swatcheroo. It's definitely on the light side. Right here, it's like a more muted version of the Anastasia Beverly Hills cream formula. So I think the pairing of the two is just perfect. In fact, I'll put it on top. You can see how it just gives that cream blush a little bit of a luminosity to it. So kind of like a highlighter has been mixed with it, but I think you could forego the highlighter in this instance. I didn't really need to use it, but I wanted to talk about it, and now I'm happy that I have, and probably will make its way out of my collection. All right, I'm gonna quickly do brows. PYT Beauty brow pencil in the shade Taupe. Absolutely love it. It's my new go-to, my favorite brow pencil. It's waxy, but also almost has like a little bit of like a gel to it, and I find that it keeps my brows in place. It's very quick and easy to work with, and I've just been loving it since I discovered it. You're probably wondering, how is this a rainy day makeup tutorial? Well, we'll do a bit of a grungier eye look, but the way I see a rainy day is just to play with products, kind of just sit in your own world and just kind of be and meditate. So playing with these products that I know pretty well and just creating a look that I feel really confident, I feel like is enough for me on this rainy day. All right, for the palette, I've not talked about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette. They've added, according to them, 200% more product. Honestly, I'm sure I could figure that out if I read the grams on the back compared to their old 14 pans. So this is only a 12 pan, whereas their previous ones, I believe, were 14. And they've added more product, made them larger. They've gotten rid of that brush that used to lie here. Packaging looks very similar to their other palettes. It's the same slimness, kind of textured material. I actually really like this color. It drew me in. I'm a sucker for grungy greens. I don't know why, but I love the green and the gold detailing on this. I love the like linen fabric feel to it. And the color story kind of drew me in because it's a lot of those shades that I like. And then this little pop of lavender just somehow really excited me. So I'm gonna go in and play with it. I think I have tried every shade in here. What I don't like about this palette is I feel like there aren't enough mattes, and I kind of am at the point where I feel like palettes have so many shimmery and metallic shades, but they don't have enough mattes in them. And for everyday use, I often reach for more matte palettes and then just 1 or 2 shimmers. And I don't care if there's only 2 shimmers in a palette. At least with the mattes, I can kind of change up the look and the feel of those shimmers. But when there's less mattes and more shimmers, I feel like I try to save the mattes because I want to be able to continue to use the palette, but can't because there's so many shimmers. Like this one's got 7 shimmers and 5 mattes. I would have at least liked that to be a lot more even. I think they could have eliminated a few shades in here, to be honest. I don't think the shade Isle actually really works that well. And the shade Hope and Wings, this one right here and this one, are pretty similar. This one's just a little bit more bronzy undertoned and warmer, and this one's a lot more cool. And honestly, this lavender just kind of makes it look like it could be used for spring, but I would say overall this is a very fall palette. So I'm gonna go with Paloma, which is the shade right here. I also find that this palette has a lot of kickback, a lot of powder that is brought up just from lightly touching it. I'm curious to see what the other one is like, but I can say it's not my favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. If I was to pick one, it's probably Soft Glam. My shirt is covered in fallout. I'm gonna go into Fleur with this shade right here, just placing it above the crease. My honest opinion is I really love the color story, but there's too many things I would change about it that I don't think it's worth picking up. So we've just got like a soft kind of peachy look going on to play off the cheek here. Now I'm gonna go into Liberty, and if you know me, you know I like to use as few brushes as possible for a look. And I'm just gonna straddle the line between my crease and like the fold above and my lid, and just kind of go on top of the crease and just blend back and forth. So I'm gonna take what's left on this brush and just wiggle it right here. Gonna look up. So this is the grungy rainy part of the tutorial. Now all I'm doing is flicking this out to try and get a little bit of a sharper edge instead of making it so rounded. Rounded does tend to look better for my eye shape, but I want to add a little bit of false lashes to flick out the ends and make it look a little bit more dramatic. Just gonna wiggle it back and forth. Now I want to deepen up the outer edge. This is just a Morphe brush from one of their holiday collections. I'm gonna go into Muse right here. Now this one isn't matte, it has a bit of a shimmer to it. I'm just patting it in and then just bringing it towards my nose ever so lightly. So you can see a big difference from this one to this one. Now this is kind of bringing my eye shape down, and that's the way my eyes turn naturally. They are more down-turned eyes. But when I add mascara and the lashes, I'm hoping it's gonna flick them up and make them look a lot more lifted. That's the plan. Now we want a flat brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Peacock, and I'm gonna spray that with some Fix Plus. And we'll go into Peacock, and I hope this does not have fallout. I'm gonna look up so it doesn't fall down below. Now this is like a gunmetal teal shade. Almost has like a duochrome to it. I'm getting like a little bit of a mauve tone in it. Yeah, I am seeing a little bit of fallout. Now I only brought it to about here, so the part that is darkest is that Muse shade. I kind of just left it like that. And then what we're gonna do is just brighten the bottom with some of that peachy shade that we use. So Fleur, we're gonna place here on the bottom. I do like how this look is coming together. I just feel like it's taking a bit more time than it normally would. So I'm gonna use this, I think it's a Royal and Langnickel. Could be wrong, maybe it's a crown brush, just a pencil brush. Go into Fleur. You can see I'm just bringing it here. I'm going to apply mascara, lashes, we'll come back and do a lip, and then this will be complete. All right, so I'm back. I have my lashes on. I'm wearing the Idole Professional Eco Lashes. They're just a very natural lash. I like the way they look. It took a bit to get it on, almost as long as it took me to film, because I really just don't wear lashes that often. My eyes were having issues today, and yeah, I tried a few different types beforehand. I bought this kit from Kiss, and I tried to get some of these individual lashes on, but they are far too sharp for my eyes and too long that it just didn't work out. So that's when I went and tried the Idole ones on. For my mascara, I'm wearing the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Brown Balm mixed with the Essence Lash Princess Waterproof Mascara, and wearing those two together. Honestly, I liked how it looked with just the mascara on. And then for lips, I've got the Jaclyn Cosmetics Cupcake Lip Liner on. It's this really nice mauve shade that I think really complements this look and looks nice with the grungy eye. Then on top I have the shade Be Brave in her liquid lipstick. I really like the combination of these two together. And then I put a little bit of the Norvina Chroma Stick in the shade Pastel Pink just in the waterline, and then I went on top with the darkest shade in here, Muse. What else is there to say? I think that's pretty much it. I think we'll end it here. I think this video has already been long enough. If you like these types of videos, then please subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. It really does help me out so much. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today and putting together this grungy rainy day look. I had a lot of fun making it and sitting here and chatting with you. It's nice to be back into the groove of things. So I hope you found this really informative. I look forward to seeing you in my next one, and I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Love you all so much. Bye.